Hello guys and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me Vulcan. Today I have for you game 1 in a best of 3 between Walther and Dremora in the lower bracket round 2 of Chickendew's European tournament. So in this one we're seeing Cheux, and on the allied side today we have Walther taking out the Guards Armoured and Dremora taking out the 12th SS Panzer. Now this is an interesting matchup because without the Boy to Firefly, I think the 12th SS will really struggle to deal with the armour that the Guards Armoured can bring out. However, if the Boy to Firefly does come onto the field, then it will be able to control this bottom side of the map quite well indeed. So it's really going to be, I think, down to whether or not Dremora can use his Boy to Firefly effectively throughout this game to nullify any armour advantage that the Guards Armoured would have in Phase A. Because mainly the 12th SS, other than the Boy to Firefly, then relies on 259s with the 4 HE power or AP power 20 mils, and then just Panzergrenz and AT guns as is standard with most Axis divisions. But the thing is with the Guards Armoured is they do have a Cromwell 7 that can bring in 11 front armour and cannot be penetrated by anything that the 12th SS can basically fire at it. So there's that. I mean, it can get penetrated, obviously, if it's closer, but not at max range, which is what Walther should be playing around if he ever decides to bring in the Cromwell 7. Let's have a look at some of the units going down, though. On this top side, we have Dremora with the 222 and an Opel Blitz, so Recon and Panzergrenz. For the town, 1 unit of Panzergrenz, 1 unit of Command Infantry, 259. Further down, we have Panzergrenz, AT gun, Recon, and a 257 mortar carrier. For the mid, it looks like it's going to be a couple units of Panzergrenz to hold the front line forwards and an AT gun for the bottom side. This is a very weak bot side for Dremora at the moment. Maybe he'll add some units to that, but I'm pretty sure he's spent pretty much all of his points with those forces. Let's have a look at Walther's side of things. He has the Stuart 6 in here. He's got the M5 half-track with the motorised rifle leader. 3 units of rifles for the town, motorised rifles for the top side. Motorized rifle and rifles for the mid with a Humber Mark III, and the bottom side is AT gun and the Recon there with the Jillies, with the Willies MMG Jillies. That would be an interesting name, wouldn't it? So yeah, Recon's been added in the center there as well. But just in general, going into this, I don't think both sides are really threatening each other too much. It's a pretty standard opener. I'm just surprised not to see like either more Stuart 6s or Cromwell's come out at the start from Walther. He is going to be purchasing himself a Cromwell 6 down the bottom side, so that might be able to help him deal with any of these units early on if the Boy to Firefly doesn't show up. But the Boy to Firefly I think needs to be on Walther's mind because I think it's an important piece in this matchup to have to hold back the guards early on, because if you don't hold them back, you're going to be in trouble moving into Phase B and C, where I think the Guards Armoured ramps up even more into Phase B. Falls off a lot in Phase C, since like Dremora will be able to bring in Panthers and so on quite nicely, but still, it's going to be difficult for Dremora to hold on without the Boy to Firefly in Phase A and B. So here we go. Let's see where these are all landing. So fast move and unload commands for Dremora. Looks like Walther's just being a bit lazy there with the old unload at position commands, which is absolutely fine. So 1 AT gun on this bottom side, and I believe it's already been spotted. Walther can surely see that, yes indeed. So that's going to give a target immediately to the Cromwell 6 here, and I would not be surprised to see that engage almost immediately. In the town we have the rifles here, unloading in the face of the Panzergrenz. The Panzergrenz are going to be able to get a solid engagement onto these rifles at this range with the 2 MG42s, 9HE versus the rifles 2. That's 2 squads there, absolutely hammering those guys. 222 is moving up to the top side. That could possibly find a little bit of a salient up here. If it plays more aggressively, then can kill off this M5 half-track, kill off the Bren group, and then continue to push on. Now, it figures these are actually Bren group instead of motorized rifles, so that's even better for this 222 to get an advantage up there. But the Stuart 6 is engaging the 222 from the main road here, And if that Stuart finds the kill, then things would swing back in favour of Walther instead. That M5 half-track would open up a huge salient on that top side. And with the 222 currently pinned down, well, it's only a matter of time until the Stuart 6 lands a killing blow. And, well, there it is. Critical ammo explosion. 222 goes down. On this bottom side, Cromwell 6 has managed to pin the Pack 38. Willie's MMG is going to be charging that down and opening up a salient on the bottom side. There is going to be a Befehl Panzer II arriving. I quite like this response. However, he does need to be careful of the 6-pounder, maybe bring his mortar down here to deal with that. But the Willie's MMG definitely just going to be able to finish off this Pack 38 and now even fire at the Panzergrenz as well. And as Panzergrenz at that range, I don't think they're in range because a 400 meter range on the Panzergrenz. Willie's MG is just sitting outside of range. With the Befehl Panzer II on the way though, when that gets into 800 meter range, we'll be able to engage the Jeep, take it out, get rid of a little bit of territory gain there for Walther. On this top side though, the mortars firing away. Going to be missing the Bren group and the M5 half-track quite spectacularly. Jeep's just running for its life in the face of that Panzer II. So the Panzer II will probably just continue to open up onto the Panzer II down here and probably try and pin it, and then the Willys MG can just go and make it surrender, or the 6-pounder can do the job as well. But so far you can really see like the lack of armor is allowing that push to happen on the bottom side. The Cromwell 6 really needs to be dealt with one way or another, which preferably should have been the Boys of Firefly early on. It would have been quite risky to invest so much in the Boy to Firefly, but I feel like he could have even sacrificed the 257 and the 259 early on if he wanted to buy a Boy to Firefly down in the bottom side. Anyway, we have the Panzergrenz here, continuing the engagement with the rifles, pretty standard stuff. Another M5 half-track being brought in there with Bren Group. And these Bren Group, they have 3 HE with their Bren guns, so they're a little bit better at engaging the Panzergrenz from this range, but with the M5 half-track there helping out, things are a lot better for Walther than they are for Dremora. And on this bottom side, well, there's now a Cromwell 7 on the way, and that Panzer II is not going to be able to deal with the Cromwell 7 at all. We have the Stuart 6 here, that's going to be engaging the 257, it's found line of sight. Is he going to be able to find a kill? Track's wheels damaged. Bren Group and rifles here are getting pinned. We have the Bedford truck coming up with more rifles by the looks of things, and the infantry's not really making much ground for Walther, but this Stuart is finding kills and definitely helping pin down these different units. So the Cromwell 7, that's going to be trying to just run into the face of this Panzer II. The Recce are going to try and find those. Cromwell 6 going to help demolish these Panzer Grenadiers. Gets both the machine gun and the main gun on target, which is a total of 21 HE. Plus the Cromwell 6 firing. That Panzer Gren is not long for this world. So yeah, the Panzer Gren is still holding well in this town, but with the salient on this top side, currently a +2 for Walther. And he's also, of course, got the ground on the bottom side. Panzer II is going to get hit by the 6-pounder. Looks like Walther's just aggressively attack moving that forwards, accompanying his tanks, which is something he can definitely do. But here comes the Boy to Firefly. He definitely needed to save for this. I like this choice, but losing the Befehl Panzer II there is quite annoying because he would have liked to have given his Boy to Firefly some more veterancy. Now this Cromwell 7 is going to try and use these trees to hide from the Boy to Firefly. So that's going to be well played there from Walther, just to make sure it stays out of line of sight. Tempest is flying about, is going to start trying to pin that Boy to Firefly. In the meantime though, 63% territory lead for Walther. Found so much ground down here before the Boy to Firefly came in, killed all of the important units, the Pack 38, the Befehl Panzer II, killed off the Panzergrenz here, and that's pretty much left nothing except from this Boy to Firefly, which is going to continuously be pinned down by the Tempest strafing run. 257 is going to be engaging the infantry in the town, and you can see that Walther is doing a decent job of pinning down all of these infantry squads, but is failing to pin down the motorized rifle leader. So that means he can't actually go for the surrender on any of these squads. And with the Stuart 6 moving to the top side with the M5 half-track here, it looks like Walther is starting to clean up some of the Panzergrenz, which he can now do, especially considering a lot of the investment has gone down to this bottom side. Walther Firefly has been forced to fall back. Cromwell 7 is going to be engaging that. Tempest alongside the Cromwell 6 and the 6-pounder has been able to get on top of that Walther Firefly, and that is a big mistake there from Dremora. Needed to keep it this sort of tree line, I think, to just keep it in cover. This Cromwell 6 is quite simply just going to run that down, and we're still in phase A, so things not getting any better for Dremora anytime soon. Like, allies win in 10 minutes right now with a +3 on the board. 70% territory lead. 250-10 is pretty desperate at this point. Could just end up getting killed in the open. Cromwell's going for the shots at close range. Looks like the Walther Firefly is going to break line of sight though. Cromwell 6 is going to be engaging the Panzer Shrek and just kills it one shot. 257 going to be continuing the mortar engagement in the town, but yeah, slowly but surely, without these Panzergrens being reinforced, they are going to fall apart. There's no 259 or any sort of half tracks up there anymore, so things just open all over the map for Walther to advance. Bren Group in the middle have done a fantastic job of engaging the Panzergrens here, taking them down to 5 health. 250-10 is taken out here, and the Cromwell 7 has got the track wheel damage onto the Walther Firefly, showing side armour. Only a matter of time until the Cromwell 7 finds the kill. Also, Walther has cut off the land reinforcement point on this bottom side by basically, if you push the territory over at least the tip of the arrow down here, then basically that means that they can't reinforce there anymore. And well, with the Walther Firefly in a mess down that bottom side, with Walther absolutely crushing it on that bottom side early on. After 8 minutes and 21 seconds, Dremora is going to surrender, and Walther is victorious with 365 kills to 130 losses. I don't think there was much coming back from that for Dremora. With the reinforcement point actually held by Walther, like, that is just devastating because you can't push back as much as you'd like to, even in phase B, and it's very hard on that bottom side to, you know, avoid that. So anyway, that's going to be it for this best of 3, because I can reveal that after this game, Dremora basically gave up and sort of just dropped out of the tournament. He didn't play the rest of the games. I believe he just sort of ceded them to Walther. So Walther's going to move on to the 3rd round in the losers bracket. So well played to him. And yeah, let's just have a look at some of these kills. So the Stuart 6 did work in the top side. Killing that 259, the 222 was very important to get rid of those 20mm autocannon units. In the bottom side, the Cromwell 6 did a very nice job of cleaning up the Pak 38, Panzergrens, Panzerschreck, and 250-10. It just pinned down the Walther Firefly and the Pak 38, and that's all that was wrote for this game. 6-pounder, taking out the Feldpanzer II there as well, just aggressively moving that forwards. Dremora had all of the support that he needed, and was quite happy to do that. So, I don't know, maybe a division mismatch, maybe a mistake not to bring in the Walther Firefly early on, who knows. But either way, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.